Old guy on Instagram. Okay, so this happened a few years ago and I'm not much of a writer, so sorry if the story seems jumbled. This started towards the end of my 8th grade year. Basically, my friend had this guy who was following her on Instagram and he would comment on all of her posts telling her how pretty she is. Now that wasn't super weird, but we found it kinda creepy because this dude was obviously in his late 50s and she was 13. And then he also started messaging her every day. Not anything overly creepy, just mainly small talk at first. Eventually he finds my page and starts commenting, but I don't post pictures of myself online much, and basically all of it was just doodles and pictures of my dog. Now this guy's account also mainly consisted of art and most of it was actually pretty good, so I didn't mind him commenting on my art at first. Eventually though, he also started to message me and try talking to me. Now I have pretty bad anxiety and I hate coming across as mean, so I wouldn't really respond with words unless he asked me a direct question. Mainly what I did was send just a heart or a smiley face. Stupid, I know. So this continues for a few weeks and I learned that this guy can randomly blow up. I learned this because I had responded to a message from him asking my age. I told him I was 13 and then put my phone down because I had to do the dishes. When I came back to my phone, I had like 10 messages from him asking why I wasn't responding and also telling me he was joking. I was super confused at first at what he could have sent that would have made me mad, and basically he had responded about how both me and my friend looked like we were 18. I found that to be kinda creepy, but I didn't want to confront him about it, so I told him it was fine and that I was just doing my chores, and the conversation moved on and I made an excuse to stop messaging him for the day. One really creepy thing he did was when I posted a picture of my grandma's dog, which is a corgi, and put in the caption how much I love that dog. He liked that photo and then a day or so later he sends me a picture of a corgi he drew for me. I thanked him for it and then he asked me to tell him my address so he could send it to me. I refused, but he kept asking me, telling me that it was a gift and he wanted me to have it. I had to send a message explaining that it was a family rule and that I was not allowed to tell him my address for him to drop it. Eventually, after a bunch of little creepy things, my friend blocked him, and so he started ranting about it to me, saying how she shouldn't be creeped out by him and he was just trying to be nice, and that if she had a problem with anything he was saying, how she should have told him. He basically continued on like that for the next few days, and then he pointed out how he was following her backup account and how he was gonna start talking to her on that one. So I immediately told my friend about all of this and she blocked him on her backup. I stopped responding to him as well and blocked him. So creep on Instagram, let's never meet. Not even safe on Instagram. I have a few creepy stories I've experienced, but here's another one. So 2 summers ago I was 16 and went to the shore with my family. Me and my sister, who was 15, would go walking on the boardwalk every night since it was a cool thing to do. We would just mess around, play games and go on rides and stuff. We would also dress cute and take pictures for Instagram. Yes, I know I was basic. So one night me and my sister finished getting ready and each posted a selfie on Instagram. I was never one to get a shit ton of likes or comment. I usually got a steady 30 likes, nothing special, but this night I got a comment on my photo from a stranger. Keep in mind I don't have a private Instagram. And it was from some guy my age, so who comment, gorgeous, smiley face. Me being dumb politely said thank you and left it at that. Then he said, kick. Which made me roll my eyes, so I didn't respond, but this is where it gets creepy. His next comment was, I'm at the same shore as you, we should meet up. He even put the name of the shore I was in. I was super crepes because I never said I was in the shore on Instagram. Then I replied and said, no thanks, and he wrote back, please, smiley face. I started getting scared, so my sister commented and told him to leave me alone, and then the comment stopped. So we get to the boardwalk and I pretty much forgot about the creepy incident at that point. We got some ice cream and started walking, and from the corner of my eye I saw a guy leaning against a wall and staring at me. Me and my sister sat at S bench to eat our ice cream, and once I got a better look at him I realized it was the guy from Instagram staring dead at me. I froze and grabbed my sister's arm. He just kept staring, so me and my sister ran back to our place we were staying, which wasn't smart because he could have followed us, but we were scared. After that I think I got a few more comments calling me pretty, but then it stopped, thankfully. So creepy boardwalk guy, let's not meet. Old man on Instagram. This is my first time posting on this subreddit. This happened a few years ago, and after reading a lot of posts here I figured it would fit. During my sophomore year of college, I suddenly had to switch dorms due to housing and residence life at my university being completely assholes to me and a few other student workers. Long story short, I lost my job and had to move within a day. My parents came 5 states away and made a huge fuss in the housing office, so I was able to get more moving time. This is important later in the story. I used to go on Instagram Live a lot because I am a music minor and practicing in front of an audience helps me improve my piano skills. I guess Instagram had begun offering the feature of showing stories/lives on the Explore page, so I ended up getting a lot of views and comments from strangers. Nothing too bad, usually just song requests that I couldn't fulfill because I had a strict repertoire from my piano professor, or hard eyes from strangers. I used to enjoy the lives until I got a comment from a man who knew the exact location of my university. I never wore any school attire during lives or publicized my location on Instagram, so it made me a little nervous. I stopped doing lives after that for a while, getting caught up in regular work. My major is pre-law, and figured everything was fine. The guy sent me a few messages, offering to take me on a date. A quick scan of his profile made it clear that he was at least 50 years old. I was freshly 19 at the time, and worked as a laborer for the city my university is located near. He asked me several times a day what buildings my classes were in, if I liked the cafeteria, etc., until I finally got scared and blocked him. Before I blocked him, however, I called him a pervert and a fucking weirdo for being interested in me when I was so much younger than him and trying to find me while I was trying to go to class. A few weeks later, after I had forgotten about his weird messages, I got a message from him saying something along the lines of, "I waited for you in front of old dorm's name for hours but you never showed. Did you go home for the weekend? You shouldn't be so rude to me next time or else we won't have fun when we meet face to face." It scared me more than I'd ever been scared. My close friend graduated from the university and began working as a campus police officer around the same time. So I went to her to see what I could do. Sadly, not much could have been done, but I definitely pulled back on my social media presence. The guy followed me from 2 more Instagrams with different usernames, and I blocked them all before he could even message me. Thankfully, since leaving after that spring semester, I haven't heard from him or anyone else creepy. So, creepy old guy who thinks he knew where I live, let's not meet. Never giving out my Instagram handle again. Yesterday I was at a local coffee shop to study for an exam. I was sitting at a long table, and at some point a guy asks if he can sit on the other end. He's working on his computer, and some point asks me what I'm studying for. He leaves to take a smoke break, and when he comes back, he asks me if I liked his blog post. I have no idea what he's talking about, so I put on my glasses to read the title, Basic White Bitches. I told him that I didn't know what he was talking about, and go back to my studying. When I pack up to leave, he asks me for my Instagram handle. I don't think much of it. I live in a friendly neighborhood, so I told him and left. About an hour later I see that he added me, and look at his WordPress blog that's linked in his bio. His most recent post was titled, "This White Girl at the Coffee Shop," describing how he believes that I got onto his computer, scrolled down to read his blog post on how he hates white women, and then lied about it. I commented on the blog post saying that I didn't touch his computer, then I blocked him on Instagram. Not too worried about it since I don't frequent that coffee joint and seemed like some weird one-off encounter. Today I find an email in my inbox from the guy. Guess he got my email from the comment I made. You didn't have to tell me your Instagram username if you were uncomfortable. I was just being friendly. But blocking me after giving me your username? That's just petty. And I'm definitely not interested in or attracted to you. I have a girlfriend. So I see no reason for you to feel uncomfortable. Am I not wrong? So who did snoop on my laptop anyway? Surely you saw who did it if you were sitting 5 feet away. After I followed you, what made you click on my link to get to my blog if you knew nothing about it? I've never clicked on a WordPress link. Everyone hates random people's blogs. You wouldn't have clicked on it if you didn't already know where it was going. I'm not even interested in this topic anymore. I'm bored. I just like to drag things on for the hell of it. You can keep trying to cover it up, but I know how people work. I'm not even mad. I'm just slightly entertained that you are persistent in your lies. Anyway, Imma, dip the hell out of here. Don't want to make you uncomfortable or anything. My advice to you is don't give out your Instagram username if you're just gonna fucking block wasting my time and yours. Millennials are too fucking shy. And I'm here to make a difference. No kid my age will open their mouth to a random stranger, so I have to take up the slack of everyone my age. Later. I'm bored AF. Name, don't at me, I hate everything. Almost kidnapped in Miami because of Instagram. My best friend is an influencer, not big time but with a big enough following to get free shit, and has gotten 2 sponsored trips. She still works a full-time job but does the IG thing on the side mostly because of the perks. She's not big enough to live off this yet. Anyway, this was her first trip. A little boutique hotel from Miami contacted her via IG and DMs and offered her an all-expenses-paid trip to Miami for Memorial Weekend 2018 in exchange for her to be in the hotel and take pics and do a couple of stories. She was told she could bring a female friend with her if she wanted to and everything would be covered for. This was her first time doing this, so at the time she wasn't really sure of how it worked. They sent her a bogus contract for her to sign and it said she'd be responsible for paying for her plane ticket to Miami and that she'd be reimbursed for it later. This was to prevent a no-show, meaning the influencer gets the ticket purchased by the hotel and influencer never shows up. It seemed reasonable. She invited me, gay dude, instead of a female friend because she was nervous about the whole thing. We figured it wouldn't be a big deal and worst case scenario they don't want to pay for my plane ticket, she'd just cover it for me and that's it. We were supposed to be picked up by the hotel at the airport, so the day comes and we arrive to Miami. There's a guy holding a sign with her last name and the paper has the hotel logo. We are greeted and we are escorted to a black SUV. Here is where it gets weird. As soon as we are gonna get in the car, the driver is visibly upset. We thought he was talking to the guy who walked us over, but he was talking to my friend. He had a very thick accent and was wearing dark shades. He was telling my friend that she was not allowed to bring her boyfriend, me, and that she said it was two girls. Hotel told me 2 girls, number 1 girl 1 guy 2 girls. He was demanding to see where the other girl was. We were speechless and confused. The guy who walked us to the car looked annoyed, got in the passenger seat and started to fight with the driver in Portuguese. It wasn't Spanish. Then he turns to us and asks where the other girl is at. My friend tells them, very upset by now, that there is no other girl, that she is at insert name and that I'm just a friend coming with her on the trip. The big guy in the passenger seats gets out, tosses our luggage out of the car and says something like, "This is some fucking bullshit." Gets in the car and they take off. That was it. We were in shock. Utter and complete shock. My friend immediately emails Melissa, the PR person we had been in contact through email with, to tell her what happened. No response. We decide to take a cab and show up to the hotel. When we show up is when everything made sense. The hotel had been rebranded and had a completely different name, owner, and staff. We show them the IG and is indeed the IG of the hotel it used to be, but not the new one. They never contacted us, they never did anything. Whoever was in charge of the old IG account for the old hotel did, or whoever got a hold of it did. Mind you, this was a somewhat big hotel account with 10k followers. IT was real, but upon further inspection we realized the pics were really old and so were the posts. My friend felt like an idiot and would not stop crying. We called the police, met up with a detective. Nothing ever came out of it. They investigated who was running the account before or who had access to it. None of the people who used to run that account had anything to do with it. Nothing ever came out of this. It's upsetting and scary to know that whoever wanted to abduct my friend or any other girls by using this old hotel Instagram knows who my friend is. That IG has since been deleted and we never heard anything from anyone ever again. But to think my friend would have been kidnapped had she gone with another girl instead of me sends chills down my spine. Be careful and creepy hotel in South Beach. Let's not meet.